Generative AI is promised as a replacement for human creativity and decision-making, but in practice, it fails at both. Creativity is a result of recomposition of known elements in a new way. It is goal-directed recombination under constraints that preserve intent and produce coherent results. LLMs perform recombination, but they do so without maintaining intent or enforcing constraints. They tend to bias outputs toward known patterns, which can reduce exploratory thinking if relied on exclusively. It constrains the process of discovery and accumulating knowledge to an iterative process of finding the correct prompt. LLM is stabilized with knowledge of how problems should be solved because it is a statistical weight distribution that represents current knowledge, and it's how LLM performance was judged. There is no process of goal-directed discovering how something should work because it is already pre-trained into LLMs and generative tools. To achieve real creativity, you have to let LLM learn and grow. But then a simple problem arises. How would you ask for something novel while you have no idea what to ask for? LLMs are great for research on the topic to find related papers, materials, but LLM fail at tasks that require agency. Let's go back to common creative work, art-related. I tried generative AI to create assets for my game. I spent weeks of my time and hundreds of dollars to achieve a mediocre result. Do not get me wrong, spaceships, they look amazing, but they do not exactly represent my constraints, my specifications. I try to provide color schemes for each ship, even when providing my sketches to AI, so it would take them as a template. It violates proportions and distorts projections. It distorts color schemes. When I asked AI to generate images, I had a certain outcome in my mind. It was based on the function of the ship, part of the lore, why it was created in such a way with certain details or defects, and AI took away conscious design decisions and averaged toward common sci-fi tropes and trends instead of preserving intent. And it happened because AI was trained on shared images on the internet. And when you combine it, you get something average. Images on the internet. At a glance, you can think that spaceships that are created using generative AI, they follow a certain style, but spend a minute or so looking at it and you will see color palette drifts, inconsistency of details. Some ships had dense paneling, others had flat surfaces. Shape language mismatch. Some designs used rounded silhouettes, others used sharp angular geometry, while the color scheme, shapes, detailing, it's an artistic medium, artistic expression to have assets and spaceships in one single style that sets correct feel for the game, faction, enemies, or weaponry. Art, pictures, or music. First, we just imagine it and did not act upon it. Just do nothing. Second is to pay somebody to commission the art, and it's not cheap to get a good art. I know it on my own experience. Third is to learn how to do it. It's about acquiring new skills and spending your time to creating something new or something that suits exactly your project. Now, AI tools are sold as a cheap force alternative to it. There are several components to replacing humans with tools. First, it is easy to start with LLM. You write a couple of words and here's the result. Just several seconds later. You do not need to write a complicated tasks for human. AI seems to understand everything. You do not have to write a binding contract. You just type another request to AI to fix the bugs. It's just monthly subscriptions that cost only $9.99, while humans ask for 100 or so only to start working on your simple project. AI is really cheap, and who cares that you are 50 prompts deep and still didn't get your result? It's just a couple prompts more. Iteration, it takes a minute, maybe you're lucky and it will do exactly what you wanted right now in your next prompt. Usually it doesn't. Issue is not iteration itself, the issue is who is responsible for the process and how you achieve it. When working with human, you delegate intent and evaluation. The human interprets the task, makes decisions, and adjusts the result. LLMs just follow your prompt. With LLMs, the responsibility does not disappear, it shifts entirely onto the user. You must define the objective precisely, evaluate each output, correct deviations, iterate manually, and it takes a lot of time. It looks like each request is only a couple seconds to do, but it builds up. It builds up quickly. You cannot just, like with human, tell him to do something. Just give human vague expression, and human will be able to interpret it, to make something out of it. With LLMs, it's much harder. The system does not understand whether the result is correct, it only produces separation. As a result, the cognitive load is not removed, it is externalized into prompt writing and repeated correction. This is why LLMs feel close to solving the task, but rarely complete it. It's always a bit off. Replacement requires agency, and LLMs do not exhibit agency. And after all of iterations, you start to educate yourself on the topic of writing a correct prompt in hopes it will solve your problems. And it's an eye trap. It always looks like you are several prompts from your goal. You spend more tokens to get closer without actually achieving the result. And it's partially another issue that AI is misleading you into believing that AI will do it for you, that your skills are worthless. In practice, to learn required skill is always a viable option. Maybe you do not have money to pay somebody, and maybe you cannot convince others to work for a share, but you can always teach yourself how to do it. And finally do it yourself, accomplish it. Do not let big tech confuse you. Having skills to do the job allows you to exercise greater control over final result, even using such advanced AI as we were promised, but we were not provided with it, only promised. It will allow you to better convey your ideas to LLM, to use correct terminology, to express a greater degree of control. Therefore, you get better results and you will get it quicker. And AI forces you into the trap of writing prompts and learning how to write prompts instead of learning. AI is only as good as an approximate distribution in your field. Rare, high novelty ideas are statistically suppressed. You cannot fine tune it to better suit your workload. You can fine tune AI to better suit your particular workload, but you cannot remove terrible pieces from the data set completely, as it requires you to manually sort through gigantic amounts of training data and remove information based on your own biases and shortcomings. So you only achieve a biased model, nothing more, not a better one. I was always fascinated by marvels of engineering and technology. Artificial mind is such beauty to me. Now I know and understand that we should not put the burden of discovery and learning on machines that cannot be held accountable for their action. By suggesting simple, use AI as a tool that expands your horizons, not a replacement. As it will always fall short of greatness and you will be stranded in the sea empty of wonder. Use it to learn more and quickly prototype. Maybe someday humanity will create real AI, but for now we deal with brainless LLMs and generative AI.